it was interesting when you said you had or you got 20 different organizations to participate initially, uh, but each of those organizations brings a lot of baggage with them as well, and it must be difficult to keep 20 distinct organizations from getting down in the weeds and looking at only their interests and not the interests of all Canadians and pushing them up higher to watch what's going on. So that must have been very difficult for you and Anne.
It is it's a welcome challenge because we respect the diversity of the views around the table, and well, we're at 141 now. So you thought what it was like to have 20. We're at 141. So if we just keep it to making sure that we're measuring on the scorecard and we're communicating the importance of having a long-term economic plan, that can fit with any political stripe, partisan stripe, policy stripe. That overall umbrella, all Canadians can buy into. And we're showing that this is where the politicians can meet and agree. And we all have to be able to do that. One thing we all, though, sign off on is you have to believe that we are striving for a net zero economy by 2050. That is the top line in terms of making sure that people are all on the same page, because that drives a lot of our policy and in the country. And as a result, if you don't believe that that is something we should aspire to as a country, then you're really not going to be in step with the kind of things that we talk about at the coalition. So it's a good thing for organizations to know that the one thing we all believe in is net zero by 2050. Having said that, we do have what's called the Pathways organization or Pathways Initiative, which is the sixth largest oil and gas producers in the oil sands who have come together in order to make sure that they can reduce their emissions by employing something called carbon capture and storage. So Ann and I talk about that all the time, and it's recognized that this is a way for them to reduce their emissions, which is overall good, and they too have plans to get to net zero by 2050. So you have to believe in the scorecard, you have to believe that the metrics are important, and you have to believe that we're striving towards net zero by 2050. And those are really the only things that you have to abide by to become a member of the coalition. Like I said, 141 member organizations, which represents millions and millions of people. But Ann and I, interestingly enough, so we're still partisans, Mark. I mean, quite conservative. So how do we keep that in control? Well, if Anne ever sees me dropping into a conservative talking point, she'll give me a little kick under the table. And if I ever see Anne, I think, taking the political point of view of a sitting Liberal government, I will say to her later, that's not going to be representative of everybody. And we have a really open and honest communication around those things because the integrity of the cross partisanship is absolutely central to what we are attempting to do. That's what we want to show. Like Anne says, there was that brief shining moment in Canadian history where corporate Canada, all orders of government, and the community foundations and the charitable organizations all worked together in order to protect the health and safety of Canadians through the pandemic. And that was something that Canadians really liked. And the coalition's trying to build on that kind of mentality that we should and can all work together. We've just got to define very carefully the things that we're working on together.